That was the system, so we put the stuff on the board for those guys.
Cincinnati thinks it's seen everything and ready for anything. But Cincinnati, you are not ready. Not for the hits, not for the noise, and certainly not for the Slingers. The Cincinnati Slingers take the field at Heritage Bank Center on April 25th. Season tickets on sale now. Cincinnati is not ready.
Those are good. Yeah, those are good. What's up,
Welcome,
guys?
everybody. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. Looks like we got Dusseldorf in the house, huh?
Yeah. Hello.
How are you, Michael?
Super fan, Michael Klein.
Super fan. Look at I mean, it's hard to say he's not a fan. He's just got jerseys everywhere.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many jerseys.
The old World League and the Amsterdam Admirals, Fire, and the Scottish Claymores.
That's really cool, man. That's awesome. Who's your favorite player in American football?
Oh, my favorite player was Dan Marino and Ricky Williams.
Okay. All right. That's so.
A couple of Dolphins players.
Yeah, a couple of Dolphins guys. But wow. So you've been following American football for quite some time.
Yes.
Yeah.
A long time.
So how about Clayton and Duper? Are they up there on your wish list too? Are they up there high on that list?
Please, can you?
Clayton and Duper, Marino's two top targets.
Yeah.
They were really good. They caught a lot of passes back in the day.
Yeah. He was a great player.
Yeah. So we have a couple. I think we have a guy from the Dolphins camp on one of our teams. You might notice a name pop out at you when the rosters are released. I think there's a guy from a Dolphins camp on one of the teams. I know I've seen that as a receiver. So that should be kind of cool. What's the biggest difference that you're anticipating from the outdoor game to the indoor game?
Boy, this is a good question. I don't know what I have. Nothing see a real indoor game.
Yeah,
and I have many outdoor games by Ryan Fire from 1995 to the end 2007 and this new era from 2022 to the now time.
Yeah. So I think the biggest difference is going to be the amount of scoring. That's going to be different for European fans to watch, is the amount of scoring that happens in our games. It's a very, very fast-paced game. So there's not a lot of stoppages, and the games go by pretty quick, and you have a lot of big plays. Another big thing that's a difference is we encourage celebrations. So we want to see people dancing and celebrating and celebrating together, great plays. So we encourage that, and I think the fans like that. And so I think you guys are in for quite a surprise over there. Let me ask you, what kind of questions do you have for us? Do you have some questions?
Okay, yes, I have many questions. My first question is, has the IAL turf now been adopted by all teams in Europe? And will the Englander representing Glasgow Titans be able to play their test match on it next week?
Yes. Yes to yes. Yeah, so the turf is actually done. So the turf is done. It's in the warehouse. It's just a matter of getting it on the plane, getting it on pallets, and then getting on the plane over there. The issue, the reason for the delay down in Stuttgart was the company that was going to pallet the turf got back to us late and said it was going to be 3 days as opposed to 1 day to pallet it. But outside of that, everything else was set in place. And then we got a little speed bump. So the answer is, yeah, we just can't wait till the last minute to do it. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We think the fans are going to like it.
Okay. The next question is, why are there no single ticket price categories for families or students at the German teams games in the arenas?
Ask me that question again.
Why are the no single ticket price categories for families or students at the German teams at the games in the arenas?
So I think what he's asking is he looking for price differential for families on single game as opposed to we pretty much try to keep it very simple.
Tickets,
We just try to keep it simple across the board in year one. Our goal in year one is to get out there and get let fans see what it is. We didn't do it in the US, and we just didn't think it was to have that many different categories. We felt like that we were already well below what our competitors were doing out there, and we felt like there's a lot of value in what we're doing. We're spending a lot of money on entertainment, right? So it's not you're not just coming to the building to see an 8-on-8 football game. And so I think that some of our ticket pricing, we're reinvesting a lot of the money back in to make sure everybody has a great time, and make sure that they see value to have a good time. We know people go out and work hard to get their money, and we don't take that for granted. We want people to come out and have a good time and support the team. I think across the board, if you look at our merch prices, they're a little bit lower than most merch prices. Our ticket prices are probably lower than anybody else in indoor football around the globe. And then if you look at our prices versus maybe the outdoor soccer game, maybe NFL, and I think we're very, very affordable in today's economy. And so I feel like we kind of sit where we've always been. And
we fans in the Warriors fan group on Facebook and the Warriors Nation were talking over the price, the single price for the tickets, but so much members would say that the price is too high.
I think that's basically, it depends on what the entertainment value is. We see concerts going for $100, $200 a seat, right? For a concert. So if we're giving a 3-hour, 4-hour entertainment value, what's the difference? That's the way I look at it, right? And so I think we're also a lot more accessible. I think the big thing between us and like outdoor, what you guys have is what we call soccer, you have is football, and concerts is you get to meet our players, and it's much more accessible. So I think if you take all those variables, I think we're providing a great entertainment value for our price. I think the difference is, I think people just don't understand what arena football is and the entertainment value that we're bringing, and that it's not just showing up and rooting on your team. Our teams are very, very accessible. We're putting money into pyrotechnics, laser shows, music, and DJs, into the performances. And so I think that people need to understand that. So if you're comparing us to just an outdoor soccer game where you don't get to meet the players and you're just there and watching the game, I could see how that might be a little bit. But listen, we're like WWE. We're like, a lot of the big acts out there where we're expecting you to come and have a good time, whether you're there for 2 or 3 hours. And so I think it's an entertainment value is what we should be compared to. And I think when you understand that, when you come for a family of 4 and you get to catch a football and go meet the players and everything else that goes on around it, there's a lot of costs on our end to provide that entertainment. So I think we're reinvesting a lot of that to make sure people have value and they see it as a day event. We want people to come out there and enjoy the pregame festivities. We want them to have fun postgame festivities, and then we want them to have an incredible time during the game. And I think that's the difference. Yeah.
Okay, that's just for me not a problem, but
listen, the more questions that we get,
why is the ticket, the single ticket price for one?
I could see that if they didn't understand that sports entertainment and not just sport. I think the key is sports entertainment. And so sports entertainment is value. There's a lot of value there. If you look at it, we're kind of in line with monster trucks. Truck shows. We're in line with like the Harlem Globetrotters. We're in line right there with all of that, right? Because we are more sports entertainment. So that's what I see as our competitors is instead of going to a concert where you're paying $200 a seat, come see us. Instead of going to see, maybe monster trucks or whatever, understand what we're doing. And we give great price discounts for season ticket holders. We do all kinds of different things for season ticket holders and invite them to VIP events. And, we want them to understand that. And so I don't see us really being a high cost ticket.
It's okay. For me, it's the price. It's okay. I think so.
I'm not mad. I'm just trying to answer the questions for you.
Was better for
Yeah, no, these are great. Listen, these are great questions. We got to answer these questions so we can educate people on what to expect. I think the big thing is people don't know what to expect. Brayden does, because Brayden got to see it as a kid, and so he's looking forward to when it comes back to what he's used to, right? And so that's what we want to do, is we want to bring back this crazy madhouse circus environment and play some football, out there in front of people.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. But I have seen we have in December 2 NHL games in the Dome, and this was horrible prices for one single ticket was 330 euros. That was for me unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that might be misconstrued is the ticket price is on there, so people know it's $200 or $300, and that gets you all 6 games. That's what your membership is, to get all 6 games. It's not per game. And I think when you start looking at that, listen, people are going to have a great time. Kids are going to look forward to coming out there and catching footballs and catching T-shirts. And I'll say this: so are the adults. The adults are going to look forward to catching footballs, catching T-shirts, and meeting the players and supporting their team. In the end, this is your team that we're helping build your team, right? We want this to be Dusseldorf's team. We want this to be Stuttgart's team. Then we want one of those teams over in Germany to come over here and represent in the championship tournament at the end of the year. And that's what we're building. We're building these professional environments, and it's still sports entertainment.
Yeah, it's okay. Was looking every day on the by Ticketmaster.
Yeah,
how many seats was sales, and I counted the seats, and
we got some work to do. We got
the first game day.
Yeah, listen, we got to get now that the players are in camp. So yesterday, all the players came to camp in the U.S., and now the players will be in camp over there. And you'll start to see a lot more of them out in the schools, out in the community, and meeting people. And that's a big piece of really growing the sport and growing the brand, is getting the players out in the schools and in the community. And so now you'll start to see a lot more of that. Brandon, you're the head coach over in Dusseldorf. Is a great head coach. Actually enjoy talking to Brandon quite a bit, and I'm encouraged by the way that he approaches his approach to everything, and what he's building there for you guys. And so I think that you'll start to see a lot more of the players out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my next question: what happens if very few spectators at the European teams matches on the first match day? Is there a risk that the venues will be closed at the end of the season due to a lack of spectators?
No, we're going to play out the season. And so if we don't see an increase from game 1 to game 6, that means we haven't done our job right. I truly believe that once you get out there in the community and then you put on a good show and there's entertainment, and they see how it's a professional product, I think the fans will rally around it. I think the fans are going to love it. Listen, football is a big thing over there. American football has become a really big thing over there. It's a big sport. So we're a different version of it. We're faster, we're higher scoring, but in the end, it's a much more fan-friendly sport. I mean, listen, if you're sitting in the third row and you can hear the players talking to each other, and you get a chance to talk to the players, or you get a chance to catch a football and keep it, that's fun. That's what has to permeate through each community. That's what has to get going through each community. And so I think we're not building a league just for game 1. Our business partners and myself and everybody involved with the IAL is looking to year 3, looking at year 5, and we're looking at how we grow from year 1 to year 2. This is, it's a normal business. There's going to be growing pains, but there's going to be massive growth. Most people don't realize how much we've already grown. I mean, we've grown a lot in just the last 4 months. And so if the fan base isn't what we were hoping for in game 1, that's not going to deter us from continuing to build. I think arena football, I think the IAL is going to be massive in Germany. I do. I'm a big believer. We just have to keep doing our job, proving to the fans that they matter and telling the fans they matter, and putting on a good show for them. And if we do that, the fans are going to rally around them. Most of the players are going to be people that you guys know. they're going to be German players. That's what you're out there rooting for, your own players. So, I think that we just have to do our job to make sure it's great music, great giveaways, and the fans, God bless you, and the fans really appreciate it, right? So you just have to keep growing. And so the sentiment that we might not make it through the season because of everything that's happened over there is incorrect. We are fully committed to growth. We didn't get into this. This started 2 years ago for us. We didn't get into this thinking we were going to sell out every game opening night. We know there's a learning curve. We knew that it was going to be slow growth from a fan base up until the players got there. But we knew that once the players got there for camp, we could get them out in the communities. They could also speak to people. I think when we did an event over there, while it was a great event, we only had American speaking, we had English speaking players. Now that the German players are there and they're ready to go out and touch base with the community, I think the community needs to see that there's German players that they're going to be rooting for. And I think that's going to be a big thing because, I think that gives you a sense of pride when you're rooting for people from your own community, right? And so that's a big thing. So no, we're going to finish the season. We're going to continue to grow. I mean, we're already looking at growing our base in year 2. We're already talking to more arenas in Germany for year 2.
Okay. My next question is, will the European teams have a chance of keeping up with the American teams in the playoffs?
I mean, I could sit here and tell you yes, but the honest answer is, listen, the American teams have a decided advantage, okay? Yeah. I appreciate the athletic ability of everybody that's going to go out there and play. But there are differences with the amount of experience. I mean, some of our quarterbacks over here have 3, 4, 10 years experience in arena football. The way that I see this playing out is 1 or 2 of those teams could gain a lot of experience through the season and be competitive. Do I think one of those teams will win the championship? I don't know. You guys could have incredible players over there that I just don't know. But I will say this. If the top arena football team over here in our league went out and if we invited the top 11 or 12 NFL players to come play us in arena football, we would beat the jeepers out of them. We would beat them very badly in an arena football game. I don't care what NFL players they are. We would beat them bad. So it takes a while to learn the game. There's a big difference when you're running around and there's a wall next to you. There's a big difference when your quarterback has to take 3 steps and throw the football. Otherwise, he's going to get hurt. There's a difference in the pass patterns and the way that you run your pass patterns. There's a difference for the defensive backs. There's a lot of differences in the way the offensive linemen try to protect the quarterback. These are things that are going to take some time for everybody to learn. But if you look at the way we've set up the season, it gives the Europeans a chance to get out and play each other, right? We've given each one of those teams 3 American imports to come over there to help have some experience, be veterans, to try to help train those guys and help build around them. But I didn't want to bring 20 guys overseas because then we're not building a sport. We're not building it with your citizens. We're not building it with people that you root for, right? So I think that's the important thing, is doing that. So, these are, and so we'll see. Do I think the Americans have a decided advantage? I do, just because the amount of experience. That's all.
Okay. My next question is, will team jerseys featured sponsored at visiting in the future to generate revenue for the respective locations?
Say that again. Ask me that one more time.
Will team jerseys feature sponsors at visiting in the future to generate revenue for the respective locations?
Will the team jerseys feature? What was after feature? I missed that. Brayden, did you get it? What's after feature?
I didn't.
What?
Sponsoring on the jerseys.
Oh, sponsoring. Yeah, we have presenting sponsors. Yeah. So we have presenting sponsors. Absolutely. So we just approach them a little different. Sometimes we have them above the numbers. Sometimes we have jersey patches. And they're part of large-scale sponsorship deals. So we absolutely, listen, we're looking for partners that want to participate. So if there's companies out there that would like their name on the front of the jerseys and want to come in and participate with us, we want to talk to them. We would look forward to talking to them. We have sponsorship departments that want to work with them. We have had a bigger focus over here in the U.S. and we're trying to build those departments in Europe. But the answer is yes, 100% yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Good question, Michael. Coming prepared.
The next question is: will the first champion be from Europe or America?
I'm neutral in this. Listen, here's what I want to see. I just want to see growth from game 1 to game 3, from game 3 to game 6, and game 6 to game 12, because that tells me fans are having a good time. And if the fans are having a good time, that's really all I care about. I'm rooting for, I'm rooting for all 10 teams. Whatever 10 team comes out at the end and holds up the trophy, it means 10 guys are happy. It means the community's happy, and we have a lot of growth. And in the end, that means that we did a lot of cool things through the season. So if we do a lot of cool things through the season, I'm happy with whatever the turnout is at the end in August.
Mm-hmm. And will there be a trophy, and what will the final be called?
So there is a trophy. It's not going to be called. It's not going to be called the IAL Championship Trophy. There is a name that we have for it, and we'll probably announce that. We probably won't even announce that until the first week of August what the championship trophy is going to be, because it's sponsored. It's a sponsorship trophy, but there is a championship. And the cool thing about the championship with us is it'll move around. So this year it's in Las Vegas. Next year it'll probably be over either in UK or Europe. So we'll move it around. So the championship week will move around every year into a different place, so fans have an opportunity to get there and support their teams and take part in it.
And have you a name for this final game, or Arena Bowl, or
we do
another name
today? We do. We got to keep some information so we can keep the buzz going and keep people happy as we release more and more information. Yeah. Okay. Good question.
Yeah, that was.
That all of them?
Yeah, I'm finished.
That was pretty easy, Michael. I thought you were going to come and fire away for a little while. That was pretty easy. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, listen, I wanted you on here because you've been, you've pretty much following us in everything we're doing. I heard you had a pretty good trip down to Stuttgart this weekend, and then
amazing.
I heard you got to jump on. Were you on the bus with the team on the way back?
Yeah. I was back with the bus with the team. It was a long trip. It was 6 hours with the bus back to Düsseldorf, and I was arrived in Stuttgart 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and I was make a little bit sightseeing in the city. From Stuttgart was the morning beginning in the city. Was the sun will go up, and was after this was going to breakfast in the hotel, big breakfast, and then this hotel was on the Porsche Arena area.
How was? Did you get to talk to any of the players?
Yes, of course.
Which jersey do you think you'll have to hang in the future? Which jersey do you think is the most important jersey for you?
Oh, okay. This was practice jerseys on this day was white.
No. What's your favorite? What I'm asking is, what's your favorite player?
My favorite player, I think Carl Green makes a good figure in this team, and the quarterback. I don't know what's the name.
Yeah,
but I was more learning the name of the rooster.
Well, I tell you what, every team always starts with a good quarterback in arena football.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, Brayden, what kind of questions do you have?
So real quick, I wanted to read some chats. There's some people that had some questions. Just a couple here. Hockey Plum says, will games feature multiple national anthems before kickoff, similar to how the NHL handles U.S. and Canadian teams?
So the national anthem will be the home team only. So the home team will be
home team only. Okay.
Home team only. National anthem for all games, except for the championship tournament.
Okay. And then Anthony Bartley says he wants you to contact him at head coach 1682@gmail.com, and he left his phone number too, but I won't read that on live stream. But you could see it in chat.
I got Coach King sitting in here. He just kind of perked up when he heard there's a coach over here trying to come into the league. So I got Coach King sitting over here next to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So the questions I had was, you said it was going to be sports entertainment. How do you balance the entertainment versus the actual competition?
So listen, my job is to focus on everything outside the boards. My job is to make sure that we have great music, great, sponsor interactions with T-shirts, and make sure the dancers are, having great interactions, and make sure the fans are getting footballs caught and T-shirts caught and all kinds of different things. That's really my job. And that's what I focus on, because I know that when I went to my first game, what blew me away was like everything that was going on in the stands. It was the loud booms on a touchdown. It was the celebrations of the touchdown. It was the high fives that we were doing. It was the chants that we were doing. It was the amount of T-shirts getting thrown in the stands. And that's why I said this is awesome. Listen, the guys were out there running around having a great time. They were hitting each other, and we saw some great collisions. But it was the environment and the energy in the building which really got me to say, man, this is crazy. This is great. Because I grew up, listen, I'm a big music guy. I go to a lot of concerts, and I love energy in concerts. And I just felt like it was the first sporting event that I went to in a long time, where I felt like I wasn't too far away from the event, and that there was huge energy in the building. And the one thing I remember is women were really into it. They were jumping around and screaming, and they were really into it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy, and you just don't see that energy in any other sport. I'm a traditional baseball fan. I grew up loving, baseball. You don't see it. You see people just sitting down and, talking. This was much different. So when someone says, how do you differentiate? I'm going to judge everything by what goes on outside the boards. So my staff they know this, everything that we do in the stands, the pyrotechnics, the music, the DJs, the T-shirts, everything that goes on, that's what I'm going to judge the success of, right? Because it's the interactions with the players, and they're feeling the players and the fans, and then the fans feeling like they're part of the event as opposed to there to watch an event, is what I think separates arena football from everything else. And so that's my answer. Is I actually focus a lot more on the entertainment than I do on the sport. What I'll tell you is this: it's true competition. Those guys are out there. Let me tell you something. They want to win. I mean, these guys want to win just like they want to win in the NFL, just like they want to win in the NHL, just like they want to win in whatever sport is out there. These guys are highly, highly competitive. And if you ask them, they're going to tell you their favorite part is when the fans are jumping around having a good time and they're scoring touchdowns and in this. But I know there's a lot more to it, right? So we encourage footballs in the stands. I had a player ask me, am I going to get fined if I score a touchdown and I throw the football in the stands? I says, no. Fans love that. So I focus a lot more on the entertainment than I do the football side of things, because our coaches focus on that. My job is to go out and find good coaches. Let them focus on the football ops. I focus on the entertainment.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for the fans. Yep. I understand that.
100%.
Yeah.
But
right. Yeah, I totally agree.
But the other league in Europe have forgotten the fans in the moment now.
Listen, it's why we came into this. I've been watching arena football now for 20 years, and I've just seen where it's gone and what the opportunities are. And I just was part of it when there was, 12, 13,000 fans in a building, and they were all looking forward to it. Some were dressed up in uniforms and like WWE. It looks a lot like a WWE pay-per-view event. And I said, this is the way it's supposed to be. And it's not hard to show fans to appreciate the fans. Show them that you care. They'll see it by what you put into it, right? So put something into it to show them that you care.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead, Brayden.
So we have one more chat. Nick Durst says, will there be another preseason game since the weather ruined the first game?
Sorry, Nick. Listen, the guys get out there to run around, and now it's time for them to just get ready, right? Get ready. Nottingham's going to play one against Glasgow. Talib's got to get his guys ready. Typically in the U.S. in arena football, you don't have scrimmages. You have 2 weeks of camp. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest misconception over there is that they haven't seen the players, because typically you don't bring the players to camp until the month of the first game. Right, you typically do it about 2 to 3 weeks beforehand. So now that they're there, you're going to see a lot more players, but there's not going to be more scrimmages. You're going to have the one in Nottingham. I think it's a pretty cool event that day. I think it's a huge kids' day over there, and I think there's a lot of schools coming out to that. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. But this was more about a tutorial for the referees. Some of the fans were able to show up, and tutorial for some of the players that hadn't got a chance to really experience arena football. And they're going to get the same thing over in Nottingham. But nope, buckle up the helmets and let's get out and play. Yeah.
So Nick Durst has another question. He says, since we're almost 2 weeks to kickoff, do you know when the Utah Great Eights tickets will be digitally transferred to my Ticketmaster account?
No, you're not ignoring me at all. This is a great question. I'll speak to Pedro today and find out what the situation is and why you don't have those. I don't know why you don't have those yet. I've got no problem.
So Tom, will this league be introducing any new rules similar to how the United Football League introduced the 3-point play? Will the IAL be experimenting with rules at all?
Well, I would say we already are. I think the biggest thing is the points. So we have a points system. So if you win a home game, you're going to get 3 points. If you win a road game, you get 4. So road wins count a little bit better than a home game. I think it's kind of like, I love hockey and I like the point system. But there's also something over in, I believe it's actually the Premier League in soccer, what we call soccer, but football over there. And then I think you get if you get a road goal, I think it counts a little more than a home goal over there to help in the standings. And so I kind of like a lot of that, and I implemented that for us because I'm a big believer that winning on the road is a lot harder than winning at home. And so if you have a team that, goes 5-1, I think it should count a little more if they run some road games than won just won all their home games. So there is a point system which is completely unique that I've never seen before in sports that we're implementing, so that when you come down the stretch and I think it keeps everybody in the playoffs the way that we're doing the playoff system.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I'm excited to see that too. Yeah. I think, like you said, the point system that the NHL does is really cool, and I think that's cool that we're implementing it in our league too.
Yeah, listen, I'm a sports fan that just tried to implement a lot of different things to try to what really I like about different sports, plus keep as close to the original arena football stuff as possible, and then just add a couple nuances to make us just a little different that I think the fans will really like.
So what's been the toughest decision you've had to make so far when you've been building this league?
Oh, there's not one. We make 100 decisions every day. And so every decision we make, I would say, whether it's a decision Dan and I are making, a decision me and my board are making, a decision we're making about staff turnover, or we have to make, changes. There's never, I don't think that you would call it might be the easiest might be what's the easiest decision? And that was, let's do the league. I would say, let's do the easiest decision was, let's do this thing across the globe. Since then, there's just a lot of decisions. I don't think any are easy. I don't know what would be the toughest decision. There's a lot of them on a daily basis because it affects a lot of people. Every decision we make affects a lot of people. So I don't think there's one decision that's the hardest.
Makes sense. So have there been any moments where things didn't go quite as planned and you had to kind of just adjust on the fly?
Yeah, I mean, this is a business, and there's a lot of times where things don't go exactly as you want or as planned, and you get, I mean, the whole thing about building. So we're not just building one business; we're building 10, right? We have 10 teams, 10 businesses we're building, which means from 7 a.m. to 3:30 in the morning, because there's 6 different time zones, people are experiencing something where they need an answer, they need a solution to a problem. And I think the biggest thing is being able to try to find those solutions as fast as possible, where it minimizes any kind of damage that those issues could have. In the end, most of the decisions I make are, what would I want to do as a fan? What do I think will affect this? Now, there's some very high level decisions that Dan and I make on a daily basis, 5 times a day. And then there's decisions that we make, what makes the game more fun, what makes it more entertaining. There's decisions with coaches on a daily basis. And then there's decisions where I have to make decisions where I don't want to make them, but I have to make them to keep structure and to keep a business model moving forward. So, we're building 10 businesses at one time. And there's never an easy decision. A lot of people are affected by every decision we make. And so, we have to take that into account every time you do it.
Makes sense. So what makes an arena right for, or what makes a market right for arena football?
Yeah, so I look at it, I think that there's, in the U.S., I know there's probably 100 markets where people could go out and be successful with arena football. In the end, arena football is a lot of fun. In Europe, I had to look at certain things. Number one, I wanted to look at market size. I also wanted to look at infrastructure. I talked to a lot of arenas. I wanted to find out what the arenas were that I thought we could build a good relationship with. I wanted to look at, infrastructure was a big thing. And it's different over there than it is over here. And so I had to look at each one differently over there. Listen, when I started negotiating with Germany, I did it through Google Translate. I don't speak a lick of German. I don't know their language. I had to use Google Translate to reach out to a lot of different arenas and started the negotiation process, tell them who we are, what we are, and I had to use Google Translate to do it. Then I had to talk to them and ask them questions about their market. I had to do a lot of research on those markets to find out what's worked and what hasn't, what do they like. I'll give you this, that Stuttgart, the first time I did I knew I was going to like Stuttgart because the first time I did a Zoom with them, the GM of the arena came on, and behind him was a Metallica mirror and like another rock and roll mirror. I'm a big rock and roll guy. So the first thing I said was, right on, man, let's talk a little rock and roll for a second. And so, I look at different things like that. What's that, what is that going to look like? And so, I think over in Dusseldorf, they have a young lady named Jell. I talked to her. She had an enthusiasm that was off the charts about, bringing a team there. You just have to look in markets and find enthusiasm. And if you find that enthusiasm, you're like, okay, now if we bring them a good product, if they're used to, entertainment, boom, that's good. Here in the U.S., I wanted to look at different things. I wanted to look at where were markets that hadn't been hurt from a failing league in the past. Where were markets I thought where I could build something with a good market size, where were underserved markets is a big one. And so I wanted to stay out of probably the top 10 markets in the country, except for my home market, which is Phoenix, which I thought we could do a great job in and build there. So I just looked at different things. Every market has advantages and disadvantages, and you got to weigh each one. Listen, I still think that Germany is going to be a massive market for the IAL. I think the fans are going to really, really like us, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And I think we just got to keep pouring more and more energy into it and pouring more and more enthusiasm into it and watch it grow.
If there was ever in the future teams from other arena leagues that wanted to join the IAL, would you be open to that?
No comment.
No comment. All right. Fair enough. And how do you plan to make the IAL stand out, apart from like the other arena leagues that are also trying to stand out?
I think the fact that we focus on the fans and listen, I was part of arena football back in the past when it was, to me, at its heyday, where they focused on the fans and they focused on entertainment. I think if we continue to focus on our fans and our entertainment, we're going in the right direction. I think that they failed at that. And I think they continue to fail at that, to be honest with you. So I think as long as, if we have events that I'm impressed with and I say, oh, this was fun, I think that's all we got to do. If we continue to impress me, with our games and our events, I'm pretty sure that our fans are going to have a great time too. And so I think that should be the barometer should be, I have to be impressed when I walk out of a building and say, yeah, this was a good time. And so there's a lot of things that I look at that go on out there that I don't agree with. And I think that's why we have our business model. And I think that's why we put so much energy into keeping it under one umbrella so that the decision-making process can continue to move forward. On the flip side of that, I know they are paying attention to us as they like to jump on their little social media channels and try to say and deter us any chance they get. So I know that we have a heavy focus on our coaches continuing to lead the players the way they are. I was extremely happy the way Sean handled the guys coming into town yesterday and what I saw today. I'm happy with the way, Hollywood's approaching his business out there in Las Vegas, the way Cy is approaching his business, the way Greg and Lee are handling things up in Pennsylvania. I've kind of let them do their own thing. I've got a lot of confidence in them. And I will say this, I'm extremely impressed with Brandon up in Dusseldorf. There's no doubt that I'm extremely impressed with the way he's doing things. Some of the feedback I'm getting from Nottingham and Jeff doing things over there. My conversations with Coach Garcia, I'm surprised when I talk to him about the team that he has and the things that he's able to do. And I'm leaving people out. Keith is doing a good job down there in Stuttgart. Talib's got his hands full over there, but he's building a team pretty much by himself for the last, up until about 3 weeks ago. So I think our guys are focused on the IAL, and the IAL is focused on the fans and putting a great product on the field. And then the IAL corporate office is all about the fans and what goes on in the stands. And so if someone says what's going on out, I don't know. I don't know what anybody else is doing at this point. We're so focused on what we're building. And I think that's a key. And I think we keep getting through issues on a daily basis. Nothing is smooth. Nothing's smooth sailing. We're building 10 businesses at one time. And I think everybody that's on board doing this is doing a great job. So all we got to do is keep focusing on ourselves and building what we're building. And I think the fans are going to rally behind that.
Yeah, so that's about all the questions I have, but there's some chats too. So Nick Durst says, Tom, the IAL is already setting itself apart because of you, Dan, and Kareen are actually taking questions from the fans. Thank you for keeping fans involved and with everything and listening to our inputs.
Hey, listen, I think he's up in Salt Lake City, which is, I'm going to tell you, man, you got a good team up there. Cy and Jackie running around building that organization is going to be a big thing up in Salt Lake City. So I appreciate that comment. But, this is the way the old Arena Football League was, to be honest with you, was all about fan interaction up until about 2008, 2009. And so it's not really hard for people that were part of that to actually bring that back and put that focus back into play. I'd love to see big fan bases out there on, having chat rooms and sending us some feedback and seeing what we can do to make things better. But I think that as we continue to build this thing, I think people will see that we do have the fans, experience. The fan experience, I think, is what's going to set us apart. Some of our practices are open to the public. We want our fans to be part of meeting the team as much as possible. I don't know too many other leagues that would allow a super fan like Michael to jump on the bus and ride home with the team. And I think that was a really cool thing. And we appreciate him coming down to support his team. I thought that was amazing that he did that.
Yes, it's from the bottom of my heart.
Listen, we appreciate all of that. And so I think we see, that's what this is. And I can tell you, it's not just us, it's the players. I can tell you wholeheartedly that our players appreciate the fans, that our players believe in the fan interaction, the fan experience is the most important part of what we're building, because they see themselves as entertainers. And I think they start to see themselves, differently now as entertainers and pieces of the community and parts of the community to be out and part of them. So I think that's a big thing. So, and I think that is what is going to set the IL apart is people are going to get to know us, and not only our players. You mentioned the girl, Kareen. Listen, we have world-class dance teams that she's put together, and don't underestimate them being out and part of, building that fan experience and meeting players and meeting coaches and meeting fans. Don't underestimate that because they're part of the experience too. So just keep that in mind, that when, we have some things in store. I think when you see our dance team members, you're going to see them in the stands most of the games, doing a lot of their routines so that they feel like they're part of. We want the fans to feel like they're part of the entertainment. They're not down on the field. They do a pregame routine on the field and a halftime routine on the field, but most of the time they're going to be, doing some lives and doing some interviews and doing their routines in the stands. Again, we're backing up what we say, but this is about the fans. It's what the original arena football was about. Those guys didn't, make the big bucks like the NFL back then. And they're, we're trying to get them to great wages now and build them to be part of building something and reward them for as we continue to grow. But, they're doing, a lot of these guys do this for the love of playing football. And the more and more that we can get those players out there that want to get out and play in front of the fans, the better off we are.
Yeah, and I've seen on social media too the stuff that Kareen's been doing to prepare for the season too, and so props to her. Nick Durst says, how many coach challenges will each team be allowed, and will fans have access to a rule book?
Yeah, so the fans, I'll be honest, Nick, this is an interesting question. I hate replay challenges. I absolutely can't stand it. There will be no replay challenges. I believe the officials will make some mistakes, and we're going to live with them. The replay challenges today, to me, in other sports, when I continue to watch them happen through March Madness and through all these other sports, I can't stand it as a fan. Half the time, I don't think they get it right. Half the time, it's just slowing the game down. It kills the momentum of a game. So I have, we're not going to have replay. We'll have replay of great plays. We're not going to have challenges in the game. I believe there's a human element that we all have to live with in every game. And I just want the games to move fast. I think the fans do too. We'll live with mistakes. We'll let the game be played out on the field and see what happens. Because I think that's really what fans want. And to be honest with you, if the fans are complaining after the game about a missed call, keep them talking about till the next game. Let them complain until the next game. They're still talking about it, but I just don't like it. Rule book, absolutely. There'll be a rule book posted online right about the beginning of the first game, because we do have some nuances. We don't want any of our competitors trying to copy some of our really cool rules that we're throwing in there. So once we get ready for kickoff, you'll see the rule book. I think one of the cool things we're doing is we're bringing back game day programs. I want the fans to have some game day programs that they can get autographs in. Old school, where there's going to be print. And fans can be able to collect game day programs and go out and get autographs and do some reading during the game. I want fans to put down their phones most of the time during the games and watch the games and be entertained. So that's, those are some of the things that me as a fan that I've implemented. Some people like replay. I personally don't. I don't like challenges.
So we got another chat. Will there be any traditional replays shown in between plays?
Yeah, you got to show great plays, right? Guy makes a great catch. He goes over the boards. You want to see that twice. Absolutely. So, you got a fan yelling at a player and it's on film. Let's show it twice. let's put it up there.
Yeah.
We get a great touchdown celebration. Let's put it back up there. Listen, there'll be replays, but there's just no challenges.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm super excited for the season to start, as are everyone else too. So yeah, I'm super excited. I got
Michael,
no more questions. I don't know if you guys have any.
With us talking today, Michael, did you come up with any more questions? Anything else you wanted to ask after hearing the other questions, or any answers?
One question is the presentation for the helmet and the jerseys. That's next week.
So that's a great question. We just got off the phone actually with the jersey suppliers. So there are a couple that are done. Not every one of them is done, but they're all submitted. So we're going to roll. I looked at a couple of them today. Was pretty impressed with what Casey did, what the supplier came up with. There's a press conference I know next week in Dusseldorf. And so we might have some announcements later this week about what will be available at that press conference and what won't.
Yeah.
So I would say keep tuning in because I did just get off the phone with them today.
Yeah, I see a little bit sneak of the jersey from the Ibex today in the commercial.
Oh, the commercial that we released, yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're paying attention,
This
you're
is
paying. If you're,
finish.
yeah, if you're paying attention,
Jersey?
you're paying attention. All good. Yeah, that was good that you caught that. So all good.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's some ways to find out what they might look like. The answer is, there's some information out there where you can probably get a glimpse of jerseys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
All right.
Jason said if you go to the team websites and you look at the commercials, he tried to make them as accurate as possible. So I encourage everybody to go to team websites and watch the commercials that Jason made.
Yeah. Any questions about the rules? I got the coach sitting right next to me. So if you want any high-level questions out there about a rule or what to expect a quarterback, you can ask. I got the guy sitting next to me that'll answer it. Sean, is there anything that they should know about arena football that's different than what's the one big thing they should know about arena football versus the outdoor game?
I mean, just the uniqueness and the one-on-one about the game. You can't play a whole lot of zones, so it's really going to be a one-on-one matchup. So it really can it tests the competitive nature of both teams. One guy is going to be basically trying to beat the other guy one-on-one. So I would say that's the biggest thing. I mean, yes, all games are they have their individual matchups, but this is literally a one-on-one. If you can get a guy out there that can beat somebody for 60 minutes, then it's going to be a problem. Tough. Yeah.
So there you go. It's about competitive mojo, right? It's about that macho, one-on-one the whole game. So these guys are lining up. They're playing the same guy one-on-one most of the game, if not the whole game. And it's about who wins those battles. The funny thing about arena football back in the day, there used to be a saying, if you can get 2 stops in a game, you're going to win. If your defense can get you 2 stops in a game, you're going to win. So think about that. We're in the outdoor game. If they can score 20 points in a game, they should win. And that's only 3 touchdowns. In our league, it's if you get 2 stops in a game, you should win the game. That tells you a little bit about how fast-paced, how exciting it is. But if you want to talk about competitive, balance and competition, this is the ultimate competition all game long. Yes, it's a team out there, but all game long, you're one-on-one with people. And it's who's going to win this play. And now you have to have 8 guys piecing that together to try to form one strong team. So I'd say tune in because it gets better and better every week. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I'm ready for it.
All right. So am I. Hey, Michael, I wanted to say thanks again for coming down to the game. I think it's great what you're doing over there and just keep building. Any questions you ever get, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But keep doing what you're doing over there. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for the invited for me in your show. And I wish you happy Easter days.
Happy Easter to you too. Thank you.
Yeah. Happy Easter, everyone. Yeah. It was good to have you on, Michael. Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.